Congress is back in session this week. One of the first things they will look to address is anti-Semitism on college campuses. A bipartisan push for legislation comes amid clashes between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli demonstrators at universities in recent weeks. Plus, House Speaker Mike Johnson is still facing the threat of a possible effort to oust him. But some House Democrats have indicated they would support the Republican if members of his own party went forward with a motion to vacate. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now from Capitol Hill to sort through some of this. Scott, what would be part of this anti-Semitism legislation? What would it contain, and how do the votes look for it?
To be clear, John, I'm expecting multiple proposals in the next few days, in addition to the ones we're going to discuss just now. This is going to become the focus of Congress over the next few days, if not the next few weeks. With little pressing business in front of them that is time sensitive, it seems Congress's prerogative to get into this matter of the unrest and the protests that are pervading U.S. college campuses. Among the proposals is one that would crystallize the definition of anti-Semitism as is understood by the U.S. Department of Education for its pursuits of anti-Semitism policies, for how it reviews incidents on campuses. There is, to a degree, in the minds of legislators, some art along with science as to how anti-Semitism is being defined right now, and they'd like to synthesize a new definition that is binding on the Department of Education. The sponsors of this legislation include some legislators who call themselves pragmatists, which is their way of saying, I'm a moderate from a purple district. I'm not being swayed by one party or another. We'll see where that goes, but I'll also expect, John, no shortage of messaging bills from Republican legislators trying to criticize the Biden administration for what it has done or not done to potentially fuel this political fire. And I expect a reciprocal effort by Democrats who'd say a gridlocked Republican House majority hasn't helped matters either.
Speaking of things that try to send a message, where do things stand on the motion to vacate the speakership?
We've hit an inflection point on that, John. It would be only the second ever ouster of a U.S. House Speaker. It would obviously also be the second one in a year. So history's happening with great speed around here. Marjorie Taylor Greene had told us before the U.S. House went home for a district work period last week that she had no date certain for when she will pull the political trigger on this move. But she said she hoped her colleagues would get a grievance-laden response from their constituents back home last week, and would return here to Washington galvanized to get behind her and to get rid of the House Speaker, who she believes is cutting too many deals with Democrats and built a path to fund Ukraine. The week begins without any dam appearing to have broken, without any new people lined up behind her effort. So there could be new movement as the week begins, or all of this can be a big swing and a miss, which has, no matter what the outcome, John, succeeded for Ms. Greene in one way. She has had a unique platform and quite a bit of traction to everything she says here on Capitol grounds, and that's something that I suspect she enjoys.
Yes, and it will only encourage her to go further, but it does suggest there are limits to the power of a single member, empowered by this motion to vacate, which a single member can bring forward. But perhaps those limits, let me know if you think there are actual limits displayed by this most recent drama. And then finally, Scott, without any big legislative mountains to climb between now and the election, you mentioned messaging bills. What can we expect to actually come out of Congress? You know, they go away for the summer, then the election comes. What can we expect from Congress kind of for the rest of the year?
Now, on the first issue, can any one member change the trajectory of the U.S. House? Yeah, there's a 1 or 2 vote margin, and anybody who breaks with his or her party can affect some pain on the Republicans. It just appears that this particular Republican, Marjorie Taylor Greene, can't be the one to do so yet, because Democrats have told me in so many words they'd intervene to save Mike Johnson because they don't want Marjorie Taylor Greene controlling the future of the U.S. House. Somebody else in that role might have more impact on this particular mission. What will Congress do between now and December? I got a quick answer for you. They have to pass a farm bill to help agriculture programs. They have to reauthorize the FAA, and you have some good details on what that bill is going to entail. It could impact some consumers. Beyond that, it's not a lot of must-pass stuff, so they may be equally productive if they had a joint listening party to the new Taylor Swift album than if they go to the House floor too often.
We're coming back to the Farm Bill. Farm bills are fascinating. Scott MacFarlane on Capitol Hill. Thanks a million, Scott.